Once upon a time, in the dystopian cyber city, there was a great acid rain storm that ravaged the city. It was a storm unlike any other, with acid rain pouring down from the skies for 3 days straight. The city's citizens had been warned of the storm and had been advised to stay indoors, but many did not heed the warning. The acid rain coated everything in its path, from the concrete buildings to the metal cars on the streets. As the storm raged on, chaos ensued. People were running through the streets, their clothes and skin burning from the acid rain. Emergency services were overwhelmed, unable to keep up with the sheer scale of the disaster. The city's infrastructure began to fail, and power outages plunged entire neighborhoods into darkness. The city's inhabitants were forced to take shelter wherever they could find it, huddling in basements and alleyways as the storm raged on. As the third day came to an end, the acid rain finally began to subside. The city lay in ruins, with buildings and vehicles destroyed, and the streets flooded with acidic water. In the aftermath of the storm, the city's inhabitants were left to pick up the pieces. Many had lost loved ones or their homes, and the damage to the city was estimated to be in the billions. The great acid rain storm of Cyber City served as a stark reminder of the dangers of neglecting the environment. The city's inhabitants vowed to do everything in their power to prevent such a disaster from ever happening again. In the aftermath of the great acid rain storm of Cyber City, heroes emerged from the chaos. Among them were the brave firefighters who risked their lives to rescue those who were trapped in the city's flooded streets. One such hero was Captain Ramirez, a veteran firefighter who had served in the city for over 20 years. When the storm hit, he and his team were among the first responders, racing through the flooded streets in their fire trucks to rescue those in need. Despite the danger of the acid rain, Captain Ramirez and his team worked tirelessly to save as many lives as possible. They waded through the acidic water, pulling people out of their homes and cars and carrying them to safety. But it wasn't just the firefighters who emerged as heroes during the storm. The city's doctors and nurses worked around the clock to care for the injured, often putting their own lives at risk to do so. One such hero was Dr. Lee, a young surgeon who had just completed her residency at the city's largest hospital. When the storm hit, he immediately volunteered to help, knowing that the hospital would be inundated with patients. For 3 days straight, Dr. Lee worked tirelessly to save lives. She treated patients with burns and injuries caused by the acid rain, often working without sleep or rest. Despite the destruction and devastation caused by the storm, the heroes of Cyber City showed that there was still hope for humanity. They proved that even in the face of disaster, people could come together to help one another and make a difference. In the weeks following the great acid rain storm, the people of Cyber City began to rebuild their shattered homes and lives. The city was in ruins, but the spirit of its inhabitants was stronger than ever before. One group of heroes emerged from the rubble, determined to restore the city to its former glory. They were the engineers and construction workers who worked tirelessly to repair the damaged infrastructure of the city. Led by the brilliant engineer, Dr. Singh, the team of workers labored day and night to repair the electrical and water systems that had been damaged by the acid rain. They worked with determination, driven by a sense of duty to their city and its people. Despite the long hours and difficult conditions, Dr. Singh and her team were determined to complete their mission. They worked with precision and skill, ensuring that every repair was done to the highest standard. As the city began to take shape once again, Dr. Singh and her team became known as the unsung heroes of the great acid rain storm. They had worked behind the scenes, often unnoticed, but their contribution to the city's recovery was immeasurable. In the end, it was the combined effort of all the heroes of the storm that helped Cyber City to rise from the ashes. The firefighters, doctors, engineers, and construction workers all played a vital role in the city's recovery, each one contributing their own unique skills and expertise. The great acid rain storm had been a disaster of epic proportions, but the resilience of the people of Cyber City had proven that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope.